The court accepts this crime scene sketch into evidence. Area map has been added to the court record as I adjust my webcam. If one of the witnesses is the witch, that can only mean one thing. Somebody here isn't telling the truth. You really think someone would do that? Just go into a courtroom and lie? Also, you really think that only one person here isn't telling the truth? They change their testimony every single line they say. That would indeed appear to be the case, Mr. Wright. Listen well, Sir Blue Knight. The path you tread now is a dangerous one. Claiming that a witch is amongst these most honourable witnesses is a serious accusation, should it prove to be a false one. I shall stab thee! Oh, okay. You'll find yourself at the other end of my sword, don't make myself clear. Huh? But that wasn't so much my suggestion. I mean, the gentleman here with the lovely top hat was the one who urged me to say it. Stand up for yourself, Phoenix. Jeez. If Layton says it, it must be true. Come on, you'll learn this. I know this is the first Layton game you've seen, Phoenix, but you know, you'll learn that Layton is always, always, always right. It is the same thing, Sir Blue Knight. Indeed, it is the same thing, Sir Baker. It is the same thing, Mr. Wright. Even Layton's not on my side. Oh boy. Now ready your sword. I'll have one. Were you listening? You claim the witch is not the accuser and someone else at the crime scene was the true culprit. If what you say is true, then surely you can tell the court exactly where this person was at the time of the crime, can you not? Come now, Sir Blue Knight. Only you can enlighten us to who this real witch actually is. Sir Doughy Defender. Ah, that's a new one. Sir Doughy Defender. I am the defender of Doe! Show us where the witch was at the exact moment the murder took place. Gee, where could that witchy witch be? I think right around here. Got it! That's still such a weird one. Got it! Like, there should be objection, hold it, take that. Welcome, because that was hilarious. But got it is just weird. The witch was standing here. Right there. Is that okay? What is the meaning of this? Unfortunately for you, this plot has absolutely nothing to do with any of these witnesses. Objection! You know you don't have to say objection every time you want to speak. Amazing, I know. In Quiz to Bottom, I suggest you try taking a look at this. The Grand Grimoire. According to its tome, it contains someone's circle of flame within a 1 meter radius of the caster. In other words, the witch had to have been within 1 meter of the flame when casting the spell. Objection. Of course, you needn't say any more, Sir Blue Knight. First off, notice there is no one else near you than the accused. Yeah, we've pretty much just we've pretty much just proven that Speller is the witch. Good going, Phoenix. It should also be quite obvious in the sketch there is clearly nowhere for anyone to hide. Objection. Again, you don't have to say objection every time you want to speak. True, there aren't any hiding spots, however. There is one other possibility of which one to stay hidden from sight. In red text. You also don't have to slam the table every time you want to speak. Like, those tables must really go through a pounding. Quite literally. Most intrigued, if she seems to love showing evidence. Prove it. How was the witch able to hide in plain sight? How was the witch able to hide in plain sight? If only we had something that could render things completely and totally invisible. Barnum, you don't really think things through, do you? Take that! This Monica Magica contains 2 magic gems. Ignaze and one other spell. That's right, the spell. Dimir. We've established this many, many times. Dimir. Ah, it cannot be! Oh wow, he actually understands now. They got through this one faster than they do most ones. That's right. There was most certainly a witch present at the crime scene, only they were completely invisible. To be honest, that's not necessarily obvious, considering Causes anything the caster touches to vanish from sight. That doesn't necessarily mean that they can cast it on themselves. Like, what does that mean that they have to be touching something with their hands? Because, like, the hands are touching the wrist, which is touching the rest of the body in general. Or does it just mean, like, the fingertips? Just that end of the fingertips? I don't know, like... I'm struggling with the logistics of this particular spell. Like, what if you had a really long sleeved sweater? Like... And you know, it just went over the fingertips a little bit. Like, maybe touched the end of the thumb or something. Because it was, your grandma got it for you at Christmas, and it was a couple sizes too big, and, you know, it went all the way up the sleeve, so that, it's touching the thumb, basically. And if you used Demir then, would that make the sweater disappear? Like, I don't know. I just don't know. But, yeah, it doesn't seem obvious that they can use it to make themselves disappear, but, hey, whatever. I just went off on a random tangent here. All thanks to the magic spell, Demir! What foolishness is this? Mumble, mumble, mumble. Order already caught! Defender, what are you getting at? I thought we'd use Demir to make the Monica magic disappear. Objection! According to Grand Grimoire, the entry for Demir, it causes anything the caster touches to vanish from sight. In other words... Like... If you're touching the ground, okay, yeah. If you're touching the floor, like the soil outside, would that make the whole planet disappear? I mean, I don't think someone thought this through really. Are they? I mean, I get that would probably use a lot of energy, but why wouldn't that count? If you're touching the earth, you know, you're touching the air. Well, the air's invisible, fair enough. But still, why can't we make the planet disappear? That'd be cool. Why am I going off on random tangents? I'm going off on more random tangents when re-recording this game than when I was recording this game for the first time. Jeez. Suppose the witch was holding the staff in one hand while touching part of their body with the other. They would be able to make themselves disappear. Are you implying the reader is a conflicting number of witnesses? Indeed it is, which means witnesses. Someone amongst you is not disclosing the entire truth, and that person is the witch we seek. I believe this is the most probable scenario. Dun dun dun. Honourable witnesses! You will testify to the court one final time. Tell us exactly what you saw and what you did not see at the scene of the crime. How absurdly absurd. The purpose of the trial is to convict that girl of the crime, is it not? That's right, we are not witches. Boom, the Layton slam. Come on and slam, Layton. Witnesses, I ask that you listen. There is a witch mingling among you. That's right, I'm afraid you are all no longer brothers in arms. The true opponent here is within your own group. The real witch is one of these 5 witnesses, huh? Fine by me, time to put an end to this trial. Okay, now we got to figure out which one it is. Witness testimony number 3, I think. Is this the 3rd testimony? I think it might be. For the second day, well, the second part of Chapter 2. What we saw and what we did not see. You wish to know where we're all starting tonight? It matters not. Would the flames not burn just the same? That flame! I never saw anything like it. It quite literally left me speechless. I couldn't even so much as scream. I heard the tiniest cry, and then when I turned around, the blinds were roasting. So I rushed right over. I heard the agitation, then the flames suddenly erupted. I'm certain of it. I only saw 3 people there with us. As I said, there were only 3 others present, like that man there who was stumbling around like a newborn calf. Okay. A most heinous act indeed. No small wonder these witnesses are so confused. A witch amongst the witnesses, one utterly baseless claim. I don't think so, Batman. The only baseless claim in this case is of a spell being a witch. It's more than a little likely one of his witnesses is a culprit. These testimonies are best telling who the real witch is. Okay, and I'm pretty much just going to skip ahead to blah 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 blah. I think in the normal version I actually pressed everything, but there's not really much useful information that we can actually gather. You wish to know where he's standing tonight. Flame could never saw it. Heard the tiniest cry. Heard the incantation, and finally, As I said, there were only 3 others present, like that man there who was stumbling around like a newborn calf. Which man could you possibly be referring to? So including yourself is a total of 4 witnesses to the crime scene, correct? That is how it has come to pass. By the way, what do you mean by stumbling around like a newborn calf? Oh yes, that was a man as inebriated as he was loud. Quite the humorous sight it was, I dare say. He must be the witness permanently lose his cup of whatever he's drinking. When I saw the flames rise up into the sky, I wondered to myself, my word, whatever could that be? However, I could not simply walk into Mordor. I'm sorry. I could not simply walk over to check. My knees were a bit weak from shock, you see. That's when the wobbly-legged gentleman came running over. Dun, dun, dun. Something's happened. Who could possibly have something to say about that? It's some guy.
Hang on!
Hang on as well, that's another weird one. Hang on and got it. They should not exist. That should have been... Take that? Maybe? Or hold it? I don't know. Yeah, hold it's the same thing as hang on. Whatever. Is something the matter, mister? No, everything's fine here. Mister! Harg! Whoa, it's all down the volume, Louis. That's my line. Sir Blue Knight, next time please think before trying to press this witness. What? Wait, what? Looks like this guy even managed to scare Barnum half to death. Now then, sir, about Mr. Wordsmith's testimony just now. I like some guy's theme. It's very jolly. He claimed you were stumbling around. What does he mean by that? I'm going to set the record straight right now. In no way was I stumbling around anywhere. I'd like to think of it more like staggering with style. It's falling with style. A responsible adult should know better than to go stumbling around in the dead of night. Hey, look, I don't just go stumbling around just like some clumsy idiots. I got more sense than that. But anyway, I kind of tripped over a large stone. I mean, you don't exactly see what's on the ground in front of you when you're running at full pelt, right? So you could say I put my life on the line, proving that you really need to watch where you're going when you run. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by some guy. How courageous of you. Someone give that guy a medal. My lord, his testimony is a meaningless waste of everyone's time. Well, defender, is there points to this particular line of questioning? Sure there is. The point is that every time I get into a situation like that, I just keep talking and then eventually it works out. So that's what I'm going to keep doing. Question further. The witness stated earlier that he tripped over a large stone. Mister, I have one question for you. Why weren't you watching what was in front of you? Well, to be honest with you, I arranged for a real reason, but something suddenly caught my attention. Out of nowhere, I sort of heard someone call out my name. Someone shouted, some guy? You heard your name? Of course I turned around when I heard it. Who wouldn't? When a woman calls your name, you pay attention, right? So you heard someone call out, hey you, from behind you, mean? He said someone called his name. Apparently you is his name. This is no canon. What? I said they called out my name! How many guys you know called hey you? My name is Amir! Don't you forget it, Bluey, you hear me? I must say, this gentleman does not really strike me as an Amir. You know, Professor, he's not a very memorable name, huh? No, he's not a very memorable name! Luke, go wait in the waiting room. Look at that smile! It looks like he's worshipping the devil! I can't even, like... Oh my god, Luke's facial expressions are just the best. In general, every single time. Honourable witness, is there anyone among you who was aware of this man's name prior to now? Not at all, he's always just been Mister to me. A nice name is only as good as the name of the sword he carries. I'll take that as a no. It is the first I've heard of this. I dare say I did not expect his name to be one such as Amir. I'm sorry, but I didn't know his name either. I only remember the names of my most loyal customers. Okay. It looks like absolutely no one knew this witness's name. You know, it ain't really much of a surprise to me either. Har 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 har. But seriously, I definitely heard someone call me name. When you get to me age. Ow! You really start to wonder when you'll find the true love, you know. I thought that pretty voice tonight might have been me sweetie. In red text. Many ellipses all over the place. They always come in sets of 4. Your Honour, I don't believe we should be so quick to label Mr. Amir's testimony meaningless, would you not agree? I request the witness add this amusing anecdote to his testimony. Understood. Witness, amend your testimony, but please reflect only the important points of your story. I'm telling you, I heard someone call me name and I was looking around trying to find them. Okay, let us continue the pressing. I hurried to the scene, but then I ended up tripping when I heard someone call me name from behind. His name to me will always be some guy, though. Excuse me, miss. I mean, some guy. Don't sweat it, Bluey. Mr. Hey You, it's all the same to me. You stated that you heard your name being called from behind. Are you absolutely sure about that? Oh, well, right or wrong, it sure sounded like me name. I mean, what else could it have been? I would have remembered it happening if I hadn't heard something, right? Still. Maybe there's a chance I just imagined it, huh? But anyways, I remember it came from somewhere behind me. From somewhere behind you. Is something the matter, Mr. Wright? Mr. Amir's memory is the most accurate, but if what he says is true, then there's definitely something there. Something, you say? Might you mean a contradiction? Contradictions must be stamped out and destroyed from this world! Yeah, I think so. Although, I don't know, there's just something strange about his testimony. Now I'm just imagining an army of robot Laytons and robot Phoenix Wrights just going around the world, finding contradictions and burning them. I don't even know how that would work. I don't see any decisive evidence in the court record that can help. Do you mean to say you found a contradiction that cannot be supported by the evidence? Objection. Oh, I find those all the time. Don't worry, Layton. My lord, this line of interrogation is a complete waste of the court's time. Defender, I must warn you, from here on, any unnecessary questioning will be dealt with accordingly. With a quick whack from the hammer of justice. If you don't answer correctly here, it's cut to the trial for a speller. If you're intent on finding a fault in this witness's testimony, you'll need to present decisive evidence to back up your claims. There's not one single piece of decisive evidence in the court record. I would just like to say that what is about to be introduced is probably the coolest feature of the entire game so far. What do I do now? Mr. Wright! Mr. Layton! Mr. Wright! Mr. Layton! Mr. Wright! Mr. Layton! I have an idea. Oh, really? Okay. I believe there is a weapon of sorts, with which you may be able to expose the contradiction without the need of evidence. Is it a sword? Because I need a sword. I could probably expose contradictions if I had a sword. A weapon. Or a bow and arrow so I could, get those ranged contradictions, you know? Now, defender, give us your answer. Yes, Your Honour. The defence finds the witness's testimony contains no problems at all. It's fine. No. Contains a clear contradiction. Your Honour, the defence believes there's a huge contradiction in the witness's testimony.
Objection.
Ow! Stop it! That was a really long wind up to that one. What is this? You must be an even bigger fool than I thought, Sir Blue Knight. You really do not possess even a sliver of common sense, do you?
Objection.
Oh, there's Layton with the objections! Layton keeps swapping sides. Sometimes he's on that side of Wright, and sometimes he's on the other side. It's kind of weird like that. If I may interrupt for just a moment to quiz the Barnum. And I must ask you this. What need is there for common sense in a world that foregoes using it? Accordingly, I must humbly ask that you discard such a manner of thinking. Whatever do you mean? You have my utmost thanks for placing your trust in me, Mr. Wright. Let's discuss the one remaining weapon for this cross-examination. The remaining weapon? This trial has taught us valuable new techniques to be used in the courtroom, has it not?
You mean questioning, right, Professor?
Oh, right, yeah, the questioning mechanic. I was just like, dude, I question witnesses all the time. I question witnesses for breakfast. I'm Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. You can't teach me a thing about questioning. Indeed it is, Luke. Each of the witnesses in this trial has given their own account of what occurred. Therefore, whenever one witness has testified, the other remaining witnesses have listened. That gives me an idea. In addition to catching a witness off guard and questioning them about another testimony, there is one more thing. Just one more thing, that's all we need. There's something else we can get from a 5-person cross-examination? That's right, of course! How did Phoenix get it from that? Indeed, Mr. Wright. Contradictions. Should one witness's testimony differ from another's testimony, then? I suppose that in itself could also be considered a contradiction, can it not? Testimony contradicting testimony. I never would have thought of that until now. And this is where I kind of realised this game just nails what it sets out to do. It's introduced a new gimmick to the courtroom mechanic, and that is the gimmick of having like multiple, like 4 or 5 people testifying. And not only, it's not just 4 or 5 people testifying, and basically that's it. It's gone and developed on that idea so well, with like questioning and with testimony contradicting testimony. It's so great, and the writing also does help to just kind of, you can kind of see all the stories splitting apart. It's weird. Ow! Stop that! Enough. So, Blue Knight, you are prepared to present to the court. Evidence proving the contradiction within this witness's testimony. Don't shake your head! Oh, right, yeah. So, no, yeah, you're right. No, not at all. The witness's testimony does not contradict any evidence. It contradicts a testimony. What are you talking about? It is time, Mr. Wright. Have a look at the touchscreen. New UI element! It's so pretty! There you will see the testimony of the witness in question, as well as those of other witnesses. Keep your eyes peeled to identify the contradicting testimony. Alright, let's give this another shot, mate. Maya, you're still here? I've not heard from you since like the beginning of the trial. I've not heard from you since the story so far. Whatever. And if you don't forget to take a look at the court record too. Oh my god, Luke! Oh my god, Luke, what is wrong with you? Luke, you need to pee.